All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. And sorry about the late start. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. I was trying to actually start the stream on Rumble and use the Rumble Studio. And I don't know what happened, but it just didn't really work. So I thought, I kind of set it up, kind of like how I do on StreamYard, and set it up and thought it was just going to go. And it didn't go. It went on Rumble, but it didn't go anywhere else. So that's frustrating. But I am encouraged and excited about maybe doing the stream on Rumble, because I think I can go to X too. I'm not sure. So if I can go to more platforms while I'm streaming, that would be super cool. I'm trying to do something, hopefully the Rumble Studio will work out, because StreamYard is doubling their prices next month. And F that. I barely have enough money to afford the basic plan on StreamYard right now. I have OBS, Bella. I've used OBS. I used to use OBS all the time, but OBS is a little resource hoggy, and I don't know. It's been a while since I used OBS, so I don't know if you can do multiple streaming platforms with one instance of, like, in the past when I ran OBS, I had to use, I had to open several OBS at the same time, right? I had to have 2 or 3 OBS running, and it was just no way. It just crashed everything. It wasn't as easy. Also, OBS is not as easy and intuitive, I guess, as StreamYard is, and I can't see the chats. It's just, I don't know. I guess maybe it's different now. Maybe I'll check it out. But the Rumble platform looks promising if I could just figure out how to make it work. I just tried to, I had it all set up. I had all the destinations set up. I had the stream set up. I went live, and I was live on Rumble for a few minutes there, but it just didn't seem to go anywhere else. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I think I'm something. I'm missing something in the. I'm just not familiar with it. So I'll do a test run, and tomorrow we'll be hopefully live. Right now we're only live on Rockfin and on YouTube. Okay. So YouTubers and Rockfinners, this is where we're hanging out today. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be on all the we'll be on Rumble, YouTube, Rockfin, and on X. If I can get it all to work, we will be on all those platforms tomorrow. But I just couldn't. I didn't have just the time to troubleshoot. I just had to kind of get the show together and start the show. But I had enough time to set up the stream on Rumble in the Rumble studio, but I just didn't have enough time to figure out how to make it work. Plus, on top of that, I don't have like anything loaded in the Rumble studio, like the intro video. I don't have my intro song. I don't have the background. I don't have anything loaded in the studio, so I don't know. It was going to be real bare bones. You had to wait an hour to stream if it failed to go to YouTube. Oh, well, I couldn't get the Rumble Studio to go to any of the other platforms. So I'm messing something up, I think. I was trying to go to 3 other platforms and not one. Not one of them showed up. So I don't know. I'll troubleshoot it. I'll figure it out. We'll get it going. It can't be too hard. I'm just seeking to exit StreamYard and see, if I can get more destinations at the same time, then holy smokes, that would be a great upgrade for me. I'm not sure, but paying $50 a month for basic on StreamYard is just like a non-starter for me. I'm not going to do that. Because I wanted to pay, it used to be $50 for the next tier up, in which I was intending to do or wanted to do, but that was going to be a stretch for me, $50. But now they're doubling the StreamYard price, so I'm like, I'm out of here. $66 soon? $66.60. Okay, yeah, probably. Yeah, and I just don't get it. It's like, it's a cool service, but you got to double the price? Double the price? Like what? I kind of was like a little bit like, what? I could, if you want to raise it $5, I would be like, all right. $10, I might go, okay. But double? You think the service is worth double? I bet you they're going to lose so many people on that switchover. They're going to lose so many people on that switchover that they're probably going to go, oops, I'm sorry. No, we didn't mean that. Because that is people are broke. You want to double the price of your service while everybody's broke, and you think you're going to stay in business. I just don't understand that. Because I'm going to go. I'm going to leave. Like, F that. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, StreamYard. Screw you. I'll do... yeah, if it comes down to just doing, OBS to a couple of platforms, fine. If it comes down to doing OBS to Rockfin, fine. If it comes to just me being on YouTube, fine. I'll do that. But I'm not doing $50 to stream to a couple of platforms. No. Sorry, StreamYard. You lost me there. But I've already paid for this month, so I might as well use it for a little while. Yeah, if the service is good. But StreamYard has lots of issues, too. How you doing, Rockfinners? I see you there. Denver, William, Victory, Jen. Oh, I guess I can't go to X because I have to upgrade to go to X. Oh, that would make sense. I forgot. I got all happy about it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to stream to X too," but I forgot you have to upgrade, and I'm not going to upgrade on X. Why? Because I'm not going to verify. I'm not going to give them my info. I'm not. X is a honey pot. X is a honey pot. for an eventual, verification, social media verification, universal social media verification. That's what it'll be called. Universal Internet verification or something like that. UIV. Or maybe it'll just be UV, universal verification. You'll need your UV to get on to any platform on the internet now. Why? Well, because of safety. We're worried about people and their terrorist threats. I should only post on the internet as a corporation. Could be wise. Mm-hmm. Totalitarian ID program. We're here to help. Yes, we are. If anybody has, other ideas about streaming or other free streaming services, please drop them in the chat, or in the in the after hours chat. Let's see. Denver says, my uncle told me Japan just invented a battery that he said makes the lithium-ion EV batteries obsolete. Well, that's cool. That's great. I wonder if we can get some technology that makes people not want to consume everything on the planet and expand exponentially. I know it sounds really Malthusian of me. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it's fun being human on a planet and knowing how to do all this stuff, but I fear the poisoning of the planet. You'd like for there not to be a lithium mine next to your house, sure. Or a nuclear power plant, or a regular power plant, or electrical lines. The list goes on. All right, we're all here and it's a little bit late. Let's try and talk about what we can talk about. Thanks, Patreoners. I get my Patreon generally at the beginning of every month, so appreciate you guys. I did get your Patreon donations. You guys are super cool. And thank you for helping out the channel to continue. All right, let's the catastrophe in North Carolina and in other southern places is continuing apace. This is very much a Katrina-esque situation. With a very inadequate federal response. I actually saw did anybody see the video of the guy that was your morning rant is on Substack going south? All right, everybody go check that out. There was video from a guy who said he flew a helicopter in to the area to help, to bring supplies and to rescue people, and they told him to get out. And I don't know about it seems like he's a real guy and he flies a helicopter and seems like the story is real. Why would they do that? I don't know. But the devastation is just absolutely off the charts. We know this. There is a video of somebody saying they can smell the bodies decomposing, and that is overwhelming. People saying that the death toll will likely be in the thousands. So this is a massive catastrophe nonetheless, and you know, whether you believe it to be of natural origin or manipulated weather origin, I don't know. I'm still, you know, I'm not necessarily a believer in the manipulated weather origin of this storm. Just making that clear. But I'm saying there's plenty of people out there that are. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out, because more information comes out as these things unfold. Bella says they requested Biden not to come to the area with security detail, so it would impede the rescue effort, yet T-Rump had to interrupt everything for a campaign event. Yeah. Well, he did that before. He's done that before. Didn't that happen with another hurricane? In 2016, in the first campaign attempt, I believe there was something of the same scenario played out. It was like a hurricane. They told everybody to stay away, Obama to stay away, and Trump showed up. I don't know if it was Puerto Rico. I don't think it was. I think it was something else. I could be wrong. But the devastation is real, and the suffering is real. This is a powerful. This says powerful image. No, actually powerless. And this is a view of the lights, or the lack of lights along the path. Oh, if only this would open up. It's a hot one, another hot one today, and we're going to talk about that too. This is the look at that. This is the hurricane path, and the wiping out of the grid in that area. That's pretty. It's pretty massive. I wonder about the number of people that are willing to of all the people out there that are like, they are generating these storms and they can make hurricanes and they have the technology and they know how to do this and all that stuff. Okay, sure, absolutely. I mean, I'll be the first to tell you, these things, the technology and the interest in controlling the weather is incredibly real and historically accurate. There's an easy list of weather modification programs used in a military application to go down. So it's just like, to dispel the notion just out of hand is just as silly as, believing it out of hand. It's just, it's not. It's probably a better stance is to consider all options. But again, if you're gonna tell me that, all of these huge weather events are manipulated, it's a lot of energy, right? I think I saw Joseph say something about that, but like, I just feel like the energy it takes to create all the, and the resources it would take to create an ongoing onslaught of extreme weather events continually and constantly, through an entire, I don't know, 4 or 5 month span. It's just, it's a little hard to really feel like that's, on an individual storm basis, maybe, but, on a continual, planet wide, and it's a little ridiculous, honestly. It's just slightly on the ridiculous scale. So, could some of these things be manipulated or generated? Maybe. But on the whole, all of them, all of these extreme weather events happening all the time, all the same time, all at the same time and all the time and somewhat continuously. And like if you just understand the things that were predicted in the last 30, 40 years, what all the scientists said, well, when on a warmer planet, we're going to see this happening. Well, this that's happening is exactly what was predicted. So like you can't, why not allow for your, for that to be an option too? You could consider that. You could consider the science. It's okay. Anyways. Surely, well, yeah, it's biblical, right? Of course, it's Jesus. This was prophesied in the Bible. Order yours now. A special King James Revelations Apocalypse version of the Bible. Order it now. And you'll get a discount. You'll get it for only $15.99. Will Dems win the election by creating a catastrophe? I don't know. I mean, it seems like they're trying, right? I mean, they're certainly hell-bent on getting like a major war started in the Middle East pre-election. Do you think that's going to help their election chances, though? I mean, somebody I was listening to earlier said, like, they're going to lose the election based on what they're doing in the Middle East, based on their support for genocide. There are hell of a lot of Democrats. There are hell of a lot of Democrats out there who are not happy about this. And if you think they're all going to go to the polls and, hold their nose and vote anyways. No, they're not. Right. So, and on top of that, the economy is in the toilet and it's getting worse. And the dock workers strike. The dock workers strike, and I just saw that the Amazon workers went on strike. If you have like several strikes going on at the same time, that's crippling the economy even more. Generally people vote on the economy. This is they vote on two things: war and the economy. And most of the time, war will keep somebody in office, but that's not necessarily true. But the economy is a big one. So if the economy is in the tank, historically, when the economy is in the tank, the other side wins. And there is, like, whether you think this is true or not, I don't have to agree with this statement, but whether you think this statement is true or not, there was a general consensus that the economy was better under Trump. And only Democrats would tell you, well, the economy went to shit in 2020. Well, yeah, dude, it was a pandemic. Like, that's a stupid thing to cite. You can't, before the pandemic, the economy was, in most people's minds, pretty good. But you can't cite like a world pandemic shutdown as like, well, that, Trump tanked the economy. That's not an argument. So you have an economy that's in the tank. You have this major port strike that's about to happen. that is going to cripple the economy if it goes on for longer than a week or two. The Dems are not going to win that. The Dems, there's nothing for them to stand on other than, Kamala's pretty cool and stuff like that. This is a thin argument, But people get really upset when you suggest that maybe she's not going to win. Well, you can be all, upset all you want. You can let your emotions just fly, hither and yon. You can do all that. That's not going to make a lick of difference in the outcome. How you feel. Your feelings are not going to oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you the Democrats are doing their very best job and just cutting themselves off at the knees. Is that a great outcome for Trump to win? No, of course not. But they all love Israel anyway, so they all have AIPAC handlers that are right there to make sure that they do the right thing, that Israel can defend itself. So that's important. Anyways. But who knows? I mean, the this year has been wild, right? We've had a sitting president, whisked aside. A sitting president who everyone knew already was senile, whisked aside because he was senile. They suddenly figured it out. What? They suddenly what? This guy, he's really he's not really operating very well. Everybody told you that before the actual election in 2020. People were pointing that out in 2020 that he was not operating very well, and they just decided to let us know now. They whisked the sitting president aside to install a nominee without any input from the American people, and we're supposed to vote for this person to save democracy. The irony of that statement, or that logic, which people keep pumping out. Don't let Trump win. He's going to destroy democracy. Okay. I'm just trying to get it right. I'm trying to get it straight. You just said we have to vote for this person that was installed, literally installed without any input. They just said her, and everybody's supposed to clap along. Okay. That sounds great. They just installed this person, and we're supposed to vote for her to save democracy. That is funny. That is a joke. That is worth retelling. But whatever. You guys are funny. I mean, it's all. They didn't talk about anything on the debate last night. Oh man, I steered clear of that debate. It's hard enough watching a presidential debate, but watching a vice presidential debate is I'd rather poke myself in the eye. Because usually vice presidents are nincompoops, are just, it's yeah. Generally a vice presidential debate is just not very, although I caught a second of the Pence. Who was Pence debating? I can't even remember who the nominee was at that time. Pence was actually rather well-spoken, and I was surprised. I was oh, this guy can actually string a couple of thoughts together. That's okay. I just caught a couple of clips from last night, and it just seemed ridiculous. Waltz is actually a ridiculous dude, and so is Vance. They're both ridiculous dudes who, I can't. They had a vice presidential drinking game. Yeah. But the idea that we're supposed to vote for an unelected installation type person to save democracy is just as silly as voting for somebody to Um, somebody who has already been in office and proven to be a swamp creature, that we're going to vote for for Trump to clean up to drain the swamp, or give it another go. Well, he didn't know what he was doing last time. And now he's learned a whole lot. And this time around, it's going to be different. Okay. You sure? You sure? Okay. I don't know. Let's keep going. Because, man. I know. I know. I'm pissing I'm pissing people off that are watching this channel. Hey. What can I say? Got to call it like you see it. If you don't do that, and I don't know what the point is. I don't know what the point is. Palm Springs, California just hit a scorching 117 degrees. Well, this is also happening. While the East Coast is getting knocked around by the remnants, by a hurricane and by the remnants of a hurricane, the West Coast is experiencing a late season heat wave. And we've got another, I don't know, maybe 6 days of this, at least here. It's kind of ridiculous, but man, I sure was ready for fall. It's supposed to be 101 degrees today, and it's supposed to stay pretty toasty until Monday. Which sucks because I'm trying to do a lot of work, and it's hard to work when it's hot. But the good news is that it's starting to get dark earlier, so the nights are longer. The sun is just not out for as long, so it does get hot. It has been getting very hot, but it's been like cooling. I don't know though. When I woke up today, it was like 75 degrees. It was kind of warm. I was like, huh, is it me? Am I sweating? Is it 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm sweating already? Shit. All right. Phoenix broke a heat record. So yeah, heat records breaking. Heat records being broken. Just another day in a world that is actually getting hotter. Not saying that there's funny business going on around this whole thing. But the world is getting hotter, objectively, if you're just looking, if you're just paying attention. And you could blame it on whatever you want. You could blame it on humans. You could blame it on the sun. You could blame it on, I don't know, blame it on the rain. You could blame it on HARP. You could blame it on cloud seeding. You can blame it on geoengineering. You can blame it on nuclear. I don't know. You can blame it on whatever you want. But like the world is objectively getting hotter. Just as a basic point of reference, it is objectively getting hotter, So that's happening. And the things that happen when the earth gets hotter are things like this, or things like huge ass hurricanes or cyclones, big ass storms, more precipitation. Those are all things that happen when the world gets hotter. I don't know what else to tell you. Believe it or don't. It's all, it's totally up to you. At the end of the day, it won't really matter. Because it's already too late to do anything about it. And people won't, people can't seem to get it together to try and do anything about it. And so, with those two facts in mind, ain't nothing going to turn this ship around. Unless we all get on the same page and we all, lean a shoulder into doing something about it collectively. I don't see how anything's going to change. Anyways, hottest October day on record for Phoenix, breaking the record by 6 degrees. 113. Youch. Phoenix also set a record for, days in a row over 110 or something like that. I don't know what it was, or days over 100. I don't know what the record was, but it was insane. It was like 100 straight days of warmth. But absolutely, the earth is not getting hotter. Don't you believe her lying eyes? I don't know. It's like at some point you're just saying like this thing that is obviously happening right in front of me is not happening. Like if you take that stance, I think a better stance is try to find something to blame it on. I think it's probably that's why it's like geoengineering, HARP, I don't know, the sun, something, right? But even prominent, like, the scientific dude, the doctor climate deniers, even those guys are like, oh yeah, the earth is getting warmer, but it's not as bad as they say it is. Like that's their stance, because they can't even deny that the earth is getting hotter, because it is getting hotter. Even the paid actor climate denier dudes, they can't take the stance that the earth is not getting hotter because it's getting hotter. I don't know what you want. And to me, it's not even about carbon. That's the other thing that people want to argue about. They're saying it's because of we're burning carbon. I don't know, man. You ever stood in a garage with a couple of cars running and the doors closed? Does that have an effect on you? I'm not talking about carbon monoxide versus dioxide. I'm just saying, does it have an effect on you? Yes, it does. If you have a million or a billion cars pumping out stuff 24 hours a day, do you think it's going to have an effect on the planet? You kind of would be stupid to deny that it would, right? You'd be a dummy to say like, no, that can't possibly have an effect on the planet. Come on, man. Get it together. I'm talking about the poisoning of the planet. It's cool, but denial comes in many forms, and also, cultish behavior comes in many forms and many packages, and also not, refusing to look at science and data, in one area, but using lots of science and data in another area to prove your point. That happens all the time. Cherry picking is also a fun thing to do. I love cherries. Yeah, you're right, Gene. Plants do die when the heat at night stays above a certain degree. Yeah. Oh, my plants don't like it. When it's hot for several days, I can tell you. Right now, my plants get real unhappy. Super sad and forlorn. And they start drooping. And then sometimes they start dying. Let's move on. We had a discussion. Somebody was telling me that I was, what was I doing? I was bringing up the idea that, the Democrats were happy about more migrations, more people migrating to the U.S., illegal, legal, or otherwise. Because they could, if you can give people things, you can possibly fill the voter rolls. And people were saying I was demonizing immigrants. But Just to prove a point, and we had a discussion about this, and people were trying to say that's crazy. You can't vote if you're not a citizen. Gavin Newsom bans California from requiring ID to vote. Gavin Newsom bans California from requiring ID to vote. So tell me how that idea that like people can vote, people that can walk into the country and start voting. Tell me how that's a crazy idea. Keep telling me. Keep trying to tell me. I don't know. I'm telling you, Gavin Newsom just banned California from requiring ID to vote. This is a news story. This is an actual thing that is happening. And it's done under the auspices of saying like, well, it's discriminatory or something to require people to have ID to vote. Okay. Okay. I also told you in that discussion that you can just get a ballot if you just have an ID, but you don't necessarily have to have like a birth certificate, or you can get an ID in a lot of places just by saying I want an ID. Here's a gas bill from my house or something. Anyways. And I think people have more of a problem with like the mail-in ballot thing, because then it's just really hard to know what are real ballots and what are not. There's a lot of problems with the electoral system for sure, with the counting of the votes and the casting of the votes. It's a big issue, and it's not a crazy thing to bring up. I'm just saying. But this is a kind of a wild story. They're to require ID. But, you have to have an ID to do a whole lot of things. California is one of 14 states that do not require voter ID for elections. 14 states. So in 14 states, that's a lot of states. In 14 states, you can just walk up and vote. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. Going South says 170 of 204 nations don't allow mail-in ballots. I don't, there are a lot of things that people talk about in order to reform the election process. Yeah, Gene, but you can get on the list with just an ID. I know they have a list. I bet you can just walk in, and you could probably walk in if they don't require an ID. I bet you can just walk in and vote, even if you're not on a list. But I bet you can get on that list with just an ID, which is not required. You don't need to be a citizen to get an ID. You don't need to be a citizen to get an ID. You don't need to be a citizen to get a ballot, to register to vote. You don't have to be. If you just have an ID, you can do it. People have an issue with this, and I think it's correct. It is correct. That's an issue. That is a correct issue to have. If you have an issue with this, I think that's okay. mean, it's funny because people get kicked off of voter rolls all the time. This also happens, right? People get kicked off of voter rolls. Then what? I mean, elections are always fraught with disputes and discrepancies. I think it comes, the other thing is to say, like, well, to call in question an election is something, crazy, a wild idea, is also a wild idea because people have always called elections are always, there's always disputes and controversies surrounding elections. Always. Historically, elections have been incredibly corrupt affairs. Democrats are Tammany Hall, the Chicago, operation, the Chicago machine, the Chicago Daily, Mayor Daley machine. Democrats are historically corrupt AF around elections. Super corrupt. Extra corrupt. My God. Just, what's Edgar Allan Poe was killed for his vote. They used to kidnap people in order to get them to vote for someone that they wanted them to vote for. And they would kill them. Did you know that? That used to be a thing that people did, was kidnap people, make them go vote for the person they wanted to, and then they would kill them. Anyways. So if there is a way to tilt the system or subvert your vote in order to get a required result, they're going to do it. Both sides. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. Hanging chads. Mail-in ballots. Hacking voting machines. Wasn't it Edgar Allan Poe, or am I thinking of somebody else? Yeah, hold on. Maybe he wasn't killed. Maybe he was just kidnapped. So the story is that gangs would get voters drunk and go take them to where they wanted them to vote. Where did I hear the story? Did I hear the story wrong? Maybe I did. Let's see. Did voter fraud kill Edgar Allan Poe? On a fall morning in 1849, Poe died in a Baltimore hospital after a stranger found him in great distress a few days earlier outside a polling place during an election. The 40-year-old had been missing for almost a week. His deathbed symptoms, fever and delusions, were so vague that they've spawned dozens of theories, including poisoning, alcoholism, rabies, syphilis, suicide, and homicide. So, Mark DeWidziak contends the evidence points to tuberculosis, an illness that is forever linked to artistic genius and literary martyrdom. But he says there's a co-conspirator, an affliction known as election fraud. This historian believes that Poe failed to get proper medical care because he was cooped, an election rigging scheme that at the time that involved snatching someone from the streets, confining and perhaps drugging him, then trotting him out to vote again and again. It's a very Baltimore explanation, DeWidziak said. Anyways, he disappeared. And then he was found kind of under weird. Anyways, so that's he was found in a strange situation. And his clothes were all like crazy. He looked anyways, just about every Poe scholar believes he was cooped. Just about every Poe scholar thinks he was cooped. Anyways. Anyways, it's an interesting story, don't you think? And the fact that he was John Morin reported the cause of death as phrenitis, swelling of the brain. A common way of referring to death by means of alcoholism. I don't know. And that may be the... But there, this is saying, this is saying that most Poe historians think that he was cooped. Who knows? It's a mystery. Guys, if you like the show and you want to support the show and you want the show to keep on keeping on, there are several ways to do it. In the description box, excuse me, there were several ways in the description box. Mostly these are direct donate links, and these are the best ways to contribute to the show. And just saying, hold off on donating on Rockfin for now, guys, until we get a clear indication that they're going to pay out the tips in a timely manner, and maybe without taking a 35% cut, which they did last time, which really sucked. I think it was a 35% cut. It actually might have been more than that. Seemed like a lot. Seemed like a lot. YouTube, don't know about YouTube. So the best ways to contribute are the direct donate links. And to the people that do support the show, you know who you are, and I thank you. I do. I really do. Edgar Allan Poe actually had a sad life. The woman he loved never loved him back, and he was always lonely and felt misunderstood. Yeah. Sounds you guys are all funny. I feel like a lot of people can identify with that life trajectory. I don't know. Here's the union head talking to Fox News
over the weekend.
Oh, the longshoreman.
Secretary of Labor Julie Sue
has been terrific. She's knocking down doors. She's trying to stop this. She's trying to get us to a media where we can have a fair negotiations. It's the companies that don't want to. They don't want to sit here and be fair. So that's why we're out here fighting for our livelihood.
What more from the automation do you want? What more protections could there be?
What more?
Yeah, they have language in there now.
Not strong enough, because what happens is they come in with new technology. We just caught them in Mobile, Alabama, called Autogate, and that means the trucks are coming in and they're already checked in somewhere else and not using the checkers in the ILA. Circumventing the contract. They don't care. They don't care. It's not fair. And if we don't put our foot down now, they would like to run over us, and we're not going to allow that.
You are going to grind the economy to a halt here on the East Coast and the Gulf Coast.
No, not us. They are. Don't spin it now, because you're Fox News. They're going to drive it.
But are you worried?
They're going to drive it.
Are you worried that this strike?
They have the capital to settle this thing.
Are you worried that this strike is going to hurt the everyday American, the farmers that need to reach the export market? They're telling me that they're going to hurt through all of this.
Now you start to realize who the longshoremen are, right?
Nobody cares.
People never gave a about us until now, when they finally realized that the chain is being broke now. Cars won't come in, food won't come in, clothing won't come in. You know how many people depend on our jobs? Half the world. And it's time for them and time for Washington to put so much pressure on them to take care of us, because we took care of them. And we're here 135 years and brought them where they are today, and they don't want to share.
Yeah, that's right. Extra bullet. Yeah, Fox, they don't care about working. Fox just, I think the point of the mainstream media now is to just get people worked up. I mean, it's not an incredibly insightful, right? I mean, that's just kind of an obvious acknowledgement of what they do, but they, the point is to get people all excited. I mean, that's been Fox for years, and it works, right? People that watch Fox News, it's like a stereotype. All angry, watching Fox News, getting all angry. But people that watch CNN, they do the same thing. Oh my God, look what they're doing. That Trump is a crazy devil man. And his followers, they are Nazis. That's what they get from what they watch, right? And people that watch Fox News are, they're communists. There are pinko commies. All of them. And there's we can't have these migrants coming in and taking our jobs, right? Like they just get all people all riled up. Truckers are pretty big. Bella sent me a really good video about the port strike. The link is in the chat, guys, if you want to watch it. It's a pretty good, informative video on the port strike, and the cargo ships are pretty important. Yeah, the truckers are big because they get the stuff from the port to the people, but everybody saw the supply chain thing happen a couple of years ago after COVID, when all the cargo ships were all backed up at the ports. It wasn't pretty, and we're looking at kind of the same situation if the strike goes on too long. So before we get out of here, gonna play a couple of things. Julian Assange has poked his head out of reclusion. And it's funny because I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, where's Julian Assange? Where'd he go? Did he just disappear? Is he just going to disappear? Are we never going to hear from him again? But here he is. WikiLeaks founder and political prisoner Julian Assange claims there's evidence that Trump-appointed CIA Director Mike Pompeo authorized the attempted assassination and capture. This isn't new news. This is actually already proven through some Spanish, the Spanish like spy agency. They had directly attempted to have him assassinated. This is not new news, but he's talking about this. But under the direction of Pompeo and Trump.
However, in February 2017, the landscape changed dramatically. President Trump had been elected. He appointed two wolves in MAGA hats, Mike Pompeo, a Kansas congressman and former arms industry executive, as CIA director, and William Barr, a former CIA officer, as US Attorney General. By March 2017, WikiLeaks had exposed the CIA's infiltration of French political parties, its spying on French and German leaders, its spying on the European Central Bank, European economics ministries, and its standing orders to spy on French industry as a whole. We revealed the CIA's vast production of malware and viruses, its subversion of supply chains, its subversion of antivirus software, cars, smart TVs, and iPhones. CIA Director Pompeo launched a campaign of retribution. It is now a matter of public record that under Pompeo's explicit direction, the CIA drew up plans to kidnap and to assassinate me within the Ecuadorian embassy in London, and authorized going after my European colleagues, subjecting us to theft, hacking attacks, and the planting of false information. My wife and my infant son were also targeted. A CIA asset was permanently assigned to track my wife, and instructions were given to obtain DNA from my 6-month-old son's nappy. This is the testimony of more than 30 current and former US intelligence officials speaking to the US press, which has been additionally corroborated by records seized in a prosecution brought against some of the CIA agents involved. The CIA's targeting of myself, my family, and my associates through aggressive extrajudicial and extraterritorial means provides a rare insight into how powerful intelligence organizations engage in transnational repression.
And he was also formally declared, after he was freed, a political prisoner by Europe's Parliamentary Assembly. But, I mean, that's also extremely obvious, right? Everybody knows. Council of Europe's Parliamentary Assembly has voted to confirm that Julian Assange was held as a political prisoner. No duh. We know this. Everybody knows. But good to see him out and about and a free man. Was, you know, I don't know what kind of moves he's going to make, or if he can at all. Yes, he does need to be pardoned, Gene. You're right. All right, y'all. That's it for me. I'm going to be back tomorrow at the same time at 11 a.m. We'll see y'all for a live stream here. Hopefully I'll figure out the Rumble thing. I don't know. I figured out. Might be on StreamYard again. Everybody knows other than HRC supporters. Well, you know, propaganda is seriously effective. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you. Peace out. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you on the flip.